So there is this conversation which senior counsel Ahmednasir ignited with a number of other lawyers on social media. And this conversation is very much interesting, and it is coinciding with what Rigiji came to say, that he is really fully trusting the judiciary to grant him justice. And interestingly, what Ahmednasir was saying actually was reacting to a post which was made by one Caxton P. Kigata. So Caxton P. Kigata was trying to question the legality of the public participation that we have had vis-a-vis how the parliamentarians are going to take over everything and resulting to voting, and we get the outcome. So let me just read to you what Ahmednasir was reacting to, because it was a sequential flow of conversation and very much interesting, because we had legal minds coming on board just to, to cause the fire and to heat this fire so much. So this is what Caxton P. Kigata said. In the next few days, the court will be called upon to determine whether public participation can be equated to a clerical work by staff from National Assembly, collecting filled-up forms without sensitizing members of the public on the contents of the motion before Parliament. So that is the context that Caxton was trying to frame the argument that if we go to the courts, the highest, of course, which is the Supreme Court, this thing is going to be nullified. Rigiji's impeachment is going to be nullified. And the best argument is the public participation is a sham. It was not clearly contextualized within what the Constitution describes. You talk of the public participation, do people know that this public participation is going to entail different elements? Do we know these elements? And by the way, this is confirming what we have been saying all along. And you also know, if you look at the aftermath of 2010's Constitution's inauguration and the way courts have been delivering judgment, there is something that they have been giving attention to, the realm of governance, the public participation. Did you involve the people? Very important. The sovereignty. The Constitution is so much serious with the voice of the people. But wait a minute, this is what Ahmednasir actually replied on it, and it caused the discussion to go heated further. So this is the reply by Ahmednasir. He said that public participation is not a postgraduate course or degree. Why are you insinuating that Gachagua's impeachment is something out of the ordinary? It is sanitizing. In fact, he wanted to write sensitizing. Sensitizing members of the public. What does that mean? No court has the power to overturn the impeachment of a deputy president. And then he ended full stop. Now, this is where the interesting bit of this conversation comes, because when you look at how people came, senior counsels and legal minds came to even react to the reply that Ahmednasir made, it took a very interesting turn. But you see, if you look at Ahmednasir's reply, you can try to pin him on two areas. Number one, Ahmednasir has always had a stand against DP Ruto. In fact, for him, when he was filling the forms, the public participation forms, he said that he was so much interested in the 5.2 billion, which of course Rigathi Gachagua tried to explain about the wealth from his family members, his bro and everything. Very interesting, a bit how Kenyans are now creating memes out of it. So Ahmednasir, first of all, said that he's interested in how Rigathi Gachagua acquired the 5.2 billion in 24 months, which is just 1 year. So that was a ground enough for him to give a nod to the impeachment. And so he was trying to say that that is corruption of the highest order, and how he has seen everything happening in the government. You remember, he supported the government when Rigiji and Ruto came into office. So perhaps he might be having some kind of leaks or information how these leaders are amassing wealth and squandering everything. So he was concentrating so much on the 5.2 billion, how Rigathi Gachagua acquired it in 2 months. In 24 months, sorry. So if you go to court, and according to him, he knows that that one alone is enough. You don't talk even about the public participation. So he was distancing himself from what Caxton was trying to say about public participation and what the court will give more weight, interpreting the entire process. So the other aspect that you can actually argue with Ahmednasir on is when he said that there is no court that can overturn the impeachment of a deputy president. And this is where the legal minds also came on board. Someone was telling him that Supreme Court can overturn any ruling or any activity that was taken and was not in tandem with the Constitution. And then Ahmednasir ended up saying that it can only happen so if we have what we call the juris pesa. Very interesting. When you talk of juris pesa, that is a term that Ahmednasir has always crafted. He has been saying that in Supreme Court, any case that is winning is a case that juris pesa has taken its roots so much. So juris pesa is the precedence of pesa. You apply money and you bribe the judges. So meaning, if Gachagua can make sure that I put my investment where the mouths of these judges are, then I can have my way. And this is actually bringing us to aligning with what was happening. For instance, I was telling you in the previous video that when Gachagua is very much certain, absolutely certain, that the court is going to give him justice and is risking it all, he has known the steps that he has taken. Because when he was saying that, he's following the footprints of his boss, what the boss used to do to Uhuru Kenyatta, even trying to bribe his ways in the courts, what the boss used to do. Remember what they did after the election. Remember what they were doing during Uhuru's time. There were games, serious games that were being played. So if juris pesa is going to be actionable by Rigiji, we can actually bring it to the fact that he has organized these 20 legal minds and solidified them. And they are very much ready to confront the impeachment.
I'll fight to the end. I have tremendous respect for our judiciary and the professional judges of the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court. And in the professional manner they have handled serious issues affecting Kenya. The impeachment of a deputy president elected by 7.2 million Kenyans is not a small matter that can hastily be decided by a few members of parliament and senators and wish it away. I'll submit myself to independent institutions to get justice. And I'm sure, I have no doubt in my mind that I'll get justice. And this impeachment will be thrown out. And I'll carry out my duties as deputy president. That is why anybody sending feelers to me to resign is a joker.
And if that happens, the impeachment is going to be overturned. But according to, Ahmednasir, he says there is nothing that can overturn the impeachment except if we talk of the juris pesa. I don't know what you have from your side, ladies and gentlemen. That conversation was very much interesting. And I was aligning it with how Gachagua is now very much confident and putting all his hopes in the judiciary and, intending that at the end of the day, the judiciary is going to give him justice. I don't know what you think. Of course, once he's impeached from National Assembly, he said that he's going to be ready to even defend himself in the Senate. So we still have time. The entire week we are going to see how developments will be coming out. But this conversation was very much interesting, and it is aligning with where Gachagua is putting all his bets right now. The stakes are so high in the judiciary. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next. May you have a great time.